All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. Got kind of a new setup going on. Shave the stash, so you know it's in a bear market because of that. When that's gone, it's like those little woolly caterpillars. You can tell it's going to be a long winter. But FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried is arrested, the Bahama authorities say. So there was some articles a couple days ago, perhaps you have seen them, and it said that he was detained, but those were sort of erroneous. That wasn't really true. He was basically they thought he was going to try to flee to the UAE, and that they would actually catch him at the airport in the Bahamas and detain him if he would. Now he's actually officially arrested. If you haven't heard about the FTX saga, oh boy, you guys are really in for it. I would look up some videos prono because it's a pretty bad story. Worse than Enron, definitely worse than the Bernie Madoff scam. Probably worse than Mt. Gox. Now, Mt. Gox, of course, was like a fourth of the total Bitcoin, or a third of the total Bitcoin in existence, basically, was on that exchange. But this is in the many, many billions of loss. I'm not sure anybody knows what the actual number is. When you Google it, you get completely conflicting numbers. I've seen 3.7 billion. I've heard that Alameda and FTX combined is something like more like 40 to 60 billion in total losses and assets and such. But it's really, really bad. It was so poorly managed, it's astonishing that, in fact, if you were to have a piece of paper and pencil and have wrote down the deposits on paper, it would have been better managed. And there's no exaggeration in that. Nobody really knows who was actually monitoring anything. They were just wildly day trading and losing money. And they didn't actually even keep any books on who was employed via FTX. So you could have theoretically just walked into the building or company, etc., and pretended to work there, and nobody would have known the difference. So incredible amounts of money lost. Some of the stories with him in the Bahamas and other people are quite interesting, to say the least. His girlfriend was the CEO or leader or something like that of Alameda. It's an absolute horror story. I would make a video exclusively on it, but there's probably already 10,000 of them out there. Another interesting thing is he was like the second largest Democratic donor of the United States during the election, which is interesting. There has to be a second biggest of anybody. But what I find interesting about it is my little conspiratorial mindset. And I'm not such a big conspirator that, I'm like, well, there's alien moon bases and stuff. No, not really. More of a logical kind of guy. But I do enjoy myself a good conspiracy. And I think the reason why this guy wasn't arrested so quickly is because they were maybe burning a few papers here and there, and a little bit of a paper trail, because there was even some U.S. politicians who were semi-interviewed, sort of ran up to with a microphone, kind of news media style, and asked, should the money be given back, or redistributed or something like that in a different way, or should the politicians who receive this money try to donate it to charity or something like that. And some of their responses was Republicans receive money too, which doesn't really doesn't really apply. And I don't mean to get political here, not like trying to take sides of left and right or anything like that. That's beside the greater point of the video. I just feel like this guy, it took a really long time for this guy to be arrested. The Bahamas and the United States have a very tight extradition policy with each other. If you were to commit a crime in either country, I mean, you're going to get extradited pretty quickly. So let's get into it here. The Royal Bahama Police Force arrested FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried. Press statement said the arrest came after the U.S. filed criminal charges against Bankman-Fried. The statement said the nation expects the U.S. to request the Bahamas extradite Bankman-Fried in short order. As a result of the notifications received and the material provided therewith, it was deemed appropriate for the Attorney General to seek SBF's arrest and hold him in custody pursuant to our nation's Extradition Act. The statement, attributed to Attorney General Ryan Pinder, said, at such time as a formal request for extradition is made, the Bahamas intends to process it promptly, pursuant to Bahamian law and its treaty obligations with the United States. So again, there were some erroneous articles about like him being detained before this, and I was thinking about making a video on that, but I'm kind of glad I did, because it turned out to be sort of misleading information that he was detained, and really he was just sort of thinking about like running away to the UAE or something like that. And if he were to step into the airport, then they would detain him for trying to run away with basically billions of dollars. And everybody's broke, and there's just no money. It is traded at all. It's just all gone. Basically, it was going into one wallet, and nobody had any information on how to get it out. I think you could just you could just withdraw your money at the time from basically one big pool, but effectively, there was no bookkeeping on this at all. Even if you had no management experience whatsoever, you would run a better exchange than this. It was stunning. Also, he says, "I hope I haven't killed crypto." I really wouldn't worry about that, to be totally honest, FBS, because you're probably going to go to prison for the rest of your life for basically just squandering like billions and millions of dollars. So yeah, fair enough. And I'm kind of glad that my screen is in the way, because there's basically just videos playing from the website. It's just like, hey, do you want a video? Not really. So fallen cryptocurrency tycoon Sam Bankman-Fried, founder of collapsed crypto exchange FTX, says he hopes he hasn't killed crypto. Again, I just like to reiterate, that's probably not what you should hope for right now. Like, regardless, you know, you got bigger things to worry about. After overseeing one of the most dramatic crashes in the industry's history, the 30-year-old, who faces several U.S. federal investigations into the handling of the FTX customer funds, was questioned in a new interview after inviting the BBC to his Bahama residence. So these are really great interviews, by the way. Like, if you guys haven't seen any of the memes or interviews of this guy, they're amazing. He's like basically Mark Zuckerberg level of inhuman, if you guys get what I'm saying. He's very uncanny, and just the way he says things, the way he talks, you know, and he basically just totally admits that he did absolutely nothing as a manager, like as an owner of the company, just did basically nothing. So in response, he says, "I hope so. I don't think so." You know, if people have, he was asked if people are going to lose faith in the crypto industry after this. "I hope not. I don't think so. I think crypto is more resilient than that. And I don't think if I have killed crypto, then it is not what we all thought it was, because it is meant to be resilient." Okay, so first of all, the person who was interviewing him asked whether his actions have caused people to lose faith in the cryptocurrency industry. So he responds with, again, he's like Mark Zuckerberg level of inhuman, because just think about this. Have people lost faith in the cryptocurrency industry? He says, "I hope not. I don't think so. I think crypto is more resilient than that. And I don't think I have killed crypto." Okay, but the people who lost millions of dollars, I mean, there were Super Bowl ads about this exchange with celebrities in it, and one was what's that quarterback's name? A quarterback lost millions of dollars by pouring millions of dollars into the FTX. I think it was in a commercial as well for FTX. So have they lost faith in crypto? Probably. The people that are losing millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands or whatever into FTX, they probably lost faith. They sure did. However, crypto will go on. So he's not wrong about that, but he sort of answered the question very unempathetically, like very inhuman. Like, have people lost? Well, I think crypto is still good. You know, that's basically like, have people lost faith? Well, you know, after you mow somebody over in a car accident. Well, I think cars are still good. I think people, you know, I think cars are meant to be more resilient than that. No, well, no. I mean, we're talking about people. So I don't know. Maybe it's a bad example, but you guys get what I'm saying. So moving on from that, again, I highly recommend you guys YouTube some FTX videos and some Sam Bankman-Fried interviews, because the guy is him and Mark Zuckerberg they'd make such an incredible duo for sure. So moving on here, lawsuit alleges Yuga Labs, is it Yuga or Yuga? I don't care. Yuga Labs conspired with celebs like Justin Bieber to push Bored Ape and FTs. So I've been saying since the first, inception of NFTs. Now, NFTs cover a wide variety of things, right? You could have ownership, partial ownership, or full ownership of property, items, goods and services, etc. with NFTs. And then there's sort of the NFTs on the very other side of it, that were just art. And it was like, you know, Bad Luck Brian and these memes that were JPEGs. They're JPEGs. Like, I'm into crypto. I'm in the crypto industry. I got to tell you guys, they're JPEGs. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, I've called a lot of things in my day. I was always leery of institutions, and you know, here we go with the fall of like BlockFi, Celsius, and all these loaning institutions and FTX, etc. And you know, I kind of like, you know, crypto exchanges, but I'm very leery of like Wall Street and big institutions and loaning and stuff like that with crypto. It's completely antithesis of crypto. It's putting middlemen in crypto. It makes no sense. Exchanges kind of make more sense, even though they are a middleman, because you need somewhere to trade it. Like, that makes sense. But like the institutionalization, I'm just totally leery about. I've been leery about it for years. Since like 2018, when people were starting to really get into crypto and like, you know, being like what's next, like what institution is going to pick up crypto and make it huge. I've always been leery of it, and I'll tell you what, I'm real leery of NFT JPEGs. Okay, like they're JPEGs. It's starting to become nonsense. All right, like you either go out and buy the art or just print it. Like, right click on it and print it. If you want it. I get it, guys, but trust me, they're JPEGs. Class action lawsuit filed Thursday alleged that a slew of celebrities, including Justin Bieber, Madonna, Steph Curry, Paris Hilton, violated state and federal laws when they promoted Bored Ape Yacht Club NFTs while failing to disclose their financial relationships to Yuga Labs. The suit, filed yesterday in the U.S. District Court's Central District of California, named no less than 37 co-defendants, ranging from Yuga leadership to celebrities and executives. It also names MoonPay, the crypto payment startup that allegedly facilitated those endorsements. Now, I don't really know how that one should be in there, to be totally honest, because I mean, if you should sue anybody, it should be BitPay. BitPay is probably the devil. Like, BitPay is awful. BitPay is a really terrible institution and company. I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves, to be totally honest. Like, if you work for BitPay, you should quit your job. Like, just quit. Like, walk out today or tomorrow or whenever you see this video. Just get up and walk out. Because here's the reason why. Make sure you have another job first. Let's just do it responsibly. But please quit, because Bitcoin's like, oh yeah, like, we got this thing now. Satoshi's like, yeah, we got this thing now. We don't need middlemen. And then what does BitPay do? They just get in on that middle process, and then they go to places like Newegg and these websites and stuff like that, and we're like, hey, we'll facilitate your crypto payments, and we'll take the Bitcoin from the customer, we'll convert it into money, and then we'll give you some of that money, and we'll keep a whole bunch of it for ourselves because they're really expensive to use. And they're just a terrible middleman that is the antithesis of crypto. And they should quit. You guys should quit. Though the suit lists 10 charges ranging from violations of California's consumer protection laws to violations of federal securities laws, its 100-page filing tells more or less a single story. It details an elaborate alleged conspiracy engineered by Hollywood's elite to boost the value of Bored Apes. That's going to be a tough one to prove there. With a torrent of celebrity promotions, all while secretly enriching all involved via a covert payment scheme laundered through a prominent crypto company. Now, that's a possibility. However, all of these Bored Apes basically declined in value like immediately. So I'm not sure who exactly profited off this, except for like Yuga Labs and a few people, to be totally honest. Moving on from that, Binance's proof of reserve raises red flags. So now we got problems with Binance. I just made a video. My last video, I was talking about how, like, I really hope that Binance doesn't go down or anything bad happens, because it's like the biggest exchange, basically, most volume. It would be really bad because way too many people use it. I don't know why many people use Binance, to be totally fair. I never actually liked trading on Binance, not one bit. I didn't like its interface. I don't like how they run things. I don't like the fact that they're in Malta, because if I lose my crypto, that's it. I mean, I ain't getting a hold of Malta. Nobody's getting a hold of Malta, to be totally honest. It's basically a haven on planet Earth for this sort of thing to happen. So if you lose your crypto on Binance, and Binance ever goes down, just say I warned you. Like, just go back to this video, because I really don't think anybody should have any cryptocurrency on Binance whatsoever. Now, if you have to have it on some exchange, like a U.S. exchange is probably the best, like Gemini, Coinbase, kind of Kraken. Kraken's like the Dollar General of the United States exchanges. Like, it's like the worst one, but I would still trust Kraken way more than Binance, because if Binance ever goes down, you ain't getting you're like, it's just not happening. Like, they're in Malta for a reason. Let me just tell you, like, they basically got booted out of China, and they're like, where should we go? And it's like, Malta. Like, you might as well have just chose like either Panama or Malta. Like, and they just happened to choose Malta. So trust me, they chose it for a reason. Binance's efforts to improve transparency of its reserves also exposed red flags to crypto exchanges' finances, according to accounting and financial specialists consulted by the Wall Street Journal. As noted by a former Financial Accounting Standards Board, an investment manager, the report released by the audit firm Mazars we gotta actually quote this and then put SIC at the end. If you guys don't know what that means, just Google SIC. The report released by the audit firm Mazars give not bring investors confidence, I quoted that, about the exchange finances, as it lacks information related to the quality of internal controls and how Binance's system liquidates assets to cover margin loans. Another red flag raised by the newspaper's sources regards the lack of information about Binance's corporate structure. According to a report, Binance Chief Strategy Officer Patrick Hillman was unable name Binance's parent company, SIC, as Binance has been going through a corporate reorganization for almost 2 years. Okay, whoever wrote this article, they just need a little bit of a grammar. Who was it? Ana Paula Pereira. You gotta go, dude. Lady, you got to try a little bit harder here. Differences between the total Bitcoin liabilities were also highlighted. The exchange's proof of reserve shows that Binance was 97% collateralized, excluding assets lended to users through loans or margin accounts, indicating that the one-to-one ratio of reserves to customer assets was not achieved. We found that Binance was 97% collateralized without taking into account out-of-scope assets pledged by customers as collateral for the in-scope assets lent through the margin and loan service offering, resulting in negative balances on the customer liability report. With the inclusion of in-scope assets lent to customers through margin and loans, which are over-collateralized by out-of-scope assets, we found that Binance was 101% collateralized. All right. So moving on to a different article here. Binance's alleged crypto audit failed. Not even its auditor would vouch for it. So when we say proof of reserves, we are specifically referring to those assets that we hold in custody for users. This means that we are showing evidence and proof that Binance has funds that cover all of our user assets one-to-one, as well as some reserves. So the above proof of reserve claim is interesting. If you have assets one-to-one, then you should not need an emergency fund for extreme cases. The pseudo audit was by Mazars, a mid-tier global accounting firm, according to the Wall Street Journal. After the collapse of crypto exchange FTX, Binance is trying to calm investors, but its finances remain a mystery. Mazars said it performed its work using agreed-upon procedures requested by Binance, and that we make no representation regarding the appropriateness of the procedures. So that's a funny quote. We make no representation regarding the appropriateness of the procedures. So basically, if I was Mazars, an auditing firm, and your company hired me, and then it told me what to do, basically was like, here, read this paper. And I went into a big empty room with a big desk, and there was a single sheet of paper on there that said, we want you to agree that we have one-to-one ratio. And you show me a few numbers, and then it says, now pull down pants and urinate in a circle while you spin in a circle. And that's it. That's it. That's basically it, because we make no representation regarding the appropriateness of my procedures. That's basically like saying, like, I'm a carpenter and I made you a deck, but I make no representation that I did the appropriate thing, and there's just no support structure whatsoever. So in like 3 days, it just falls over and collapses with like 10 people on it. that's one of the stupidest statements I've ever heard in business in my entire life. We make no representation regarding the appropriateness of our procedures. So what was the point of it? You might as well just have yourself a parade. Like, don't go to the parade, just give yourself a parade. Like, have a band walk by and some ladies tossing batons and stuff like that, and you just go, yeah, yay, like a baby, and watch your own parade go by. And then then you have your own birthday cake that you went out to the store and bought and then blew it out. That's what happened. The report didn't show total assets or total liabilities. Rather, its scope was limited only to Bitcoin assets and Bitcoin liabilities. So it's just Binance has like 200 different coins on it, and it's just only limited to Bitcoin. So like, who knows about the other stuff? So this is the problem. Like, really, I've always been a little cautious of Binance. Always. In Malta, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. I never have. I think I've traded on Binance like 5 times, and it was to get like some weird wacky coin or sell it or something like that. That it wasn't on any other site, and then get my Bitcoin and send it off. That's it. It's important for us to show users that the coffers are not bare, like at FTX. So another bullet point says, in an interview, Binance's Mr. Hillman said the Mazar's letter covered all the Bitcoin assets and Bitcoin liabilities for the company's Binance.com exchange, although the Mazar letter didn't itself say this. Again, because they don't have to agree. They just agreed on procedures, and they didn't have any representation regarding the appropriateness. That just means that they could have went in there and just cover themselves in their own waste, and then rolled around on the floor, and that's it. And then they just signed. Or you could just go in there and just sign right away without even seeing anything. Just no, and then that statement just covers your rear, basically. It's one of the stupidest things I think I've ever read in all of doing this whole crypto news and business ever. I wish I could say that. I wish I could make a business that could say that. I make no representation regarding the appropriateness of the procedures. Just tell your boss that tomorrow. Tell your boss that tomorrow. It's like, he's like, hey, did you clean the bathrooms? You know what I mean? Like, if you're a janitor or something like that, no shame, right? And if, and like, just be like, I make no representation regarding the appropriateness of my procedures. And he would just be like, the hell does that mean? Don't worry about it. I wish I could say that for any job I ever had. I make no representation. I should just put that in the description. I'm going to put that in the description of this video. I make no representation of the appropriateness of my procedures. It's amazing. God, that's one of the best quotes I've ever heard. Can't get over that one. Anyway, CoinMarketCap. Here's interesting what I want to point out. I'm sure you guys know by now all of the prices that is going on, because they're incredibly low. One is a little bit of an outlier though. Why? BNB. So BNB is almost at an all-time high. I mean, let's take a look at it here. So like this, like just 3 months ago, we were at $356, and an all-time high is like 650. But what's up with this? Why? Basically, the whole market is just going downhill, but for some reason, Binance Coin just never really seems to be affected too badly. And yeah, sure, it's one of the biggest exchanges, but I really feel like there's way too much money going into Binance Coin. One of these days, we're going to find something real shady about Binance Coin in their practices. I don't mean to sound too biased against Binance here, because I mean, long live Binance for all I'm concerned. I don't want anybody to lose their money or anything like that. But Binance Coin is real shady, and I think Binance itself is a little bit shady as well, especially being in Malta. And with this coin's wacky pumps all the time in a market that is just basically, straight up bear. Really makes me wonder, like, how's all the money being pumped into Binance Coin, and then like where does it go like right after that, and then it just gets pumped right back in. I just feel like sooner or later we're going to find that the Binance Coin has been very shady over the years. Don't quote me on it, but don't be surprised when I read an article someday where Binance Coin or Binance itself is really exposed for some very shady activity. But that's all I have for you guys today. I'm really glad you guys are still watching and still subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit the like button and hit subscribe, because I'm back at it. I'll be making videos as often as possible and on the news and got kind of a new setup going on. Before I was very, very busy, so I was kind of almost dead, like media wise, for like a year. I was very busy, and my office wasn't even really in a good place. It was basically just in a bedroom at the time. So it just wasn't a very intuitive situation, and I was way too busy to make videos most of the time. But things have changed, and sort of back at it. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and as usual, I'll see you guys next time.